What's good, y'all? Welcome to another episode, and today we are talking about the fastest cars you can buy under 40K. This list right here is actually going to be a part one of this list because there's a lot of cars you can buy for under 40K that one are fast and two are just official. Like, why ain't you jumped in it yet? You just been sleeping, but it's okay. I did the work for you. So if you in the market, you're looking to get something quick, something fast, something just that look good all around, you come to the right place. We about to discuss it. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Bring it in. What's good, y'all? Of course, before we get into this video, you already know, make sure you check out the website, lowexcelsapparel.com. The link will be in the description of this video, and it is also in the shop on my YouTube page. You already know you can go ahead and cop you some hoodies, some beanies, t-shirts, whatever you need, I got you. Make sure you support yourself, you support the channel, and look good while you're doing it, right? Let's get into this video though. Number one, that would be a 2014 to 2017 Audi RS7 Quattro Prestige. This came equipped with a 4-liter V8, 560 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 3.7 seconds. But wait a minute. In 2016, they came out with a performance version. In this, they had 605 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, 3.6 seconds. So these are two cars that are the same car essentially, that just have slightly different tuning capabilities for them to go a little quicker than the other. One has slightly more power, which is the performance. Great news, you can get both of these under 40K, y'all. All right, and now this car is actually, believe it or not, above average reliability. I know that sounds crazy. It's a foreign, it's an Audi, but believe it or not, a lot of people who own these cars do not have too much problems with them. But you gotta make sure when you get one of these cars, you gotta have a big bag on deck, okay? You gotta have money saved up, because if you don't, the issue with these cars, or just more expensive luxury cars in general, is when people jump in these cars, they treat them as if, you know, I'll get to that later, or I'll just get a cheap part for that. I don't need to pay top dollar for a Supreme or a legit part for this car, right? People come in it and they just, you know, they half do it. You see what I'm saying? They go in it and they don't really take an initiative to really spend the money that's needed to keep up with these cars. So when that happens, they break down. And when they break down, they get online talking about, yo, this car is terrible, it's unreliable, it was the worst experience of my life. Because a lot of the times these people are not spending the money to keep up with these cars, and they really killing them at that. You see what I'm saying? So that's not for everybody, okay? Mind you, that doesn't go for everybody, but there's a lot of people who can attest to this, who've seen people go through these things and be like, yo, like, you be pushing your car like crazy, but you really don't be putting that much money in it. Or you be really pushing your limits when you really don't need to, when you should be doing a little more preventative maintenance here and there. You feel me? A lot of that happens, and a lot of cars on this list it happens with as well. So keep that in the back of your mind, because if you do get any of these cars, you're going to need to really be proactive and not reactive, so you don't have to go through those issues. But this car right here is official in every way. It has all-wheel drive, it's quick off the line, it has all the luxury equipment you would need, all the features that you would need. It looks the part, it drives the part. Is it going to be the greatest handling car? Not necessarily. Why? Because it's a 4-door, it's a sedan, but you got all the space you need. It's a hatchback essentially as well, so you got even more space there, and it just looks really good, y'all. Like, you really can't go wrong with it. A lot of people call this the German Hellcat in a sense, you feel me? Because once you do just a little piggyback tune on one of these, you well over 700 horsepower easily, and the difference is you could put it down. Comparison to somebody in the Hellcat, they can't put that power down like ever, really. You see what I'm saying? Because it's really hard for them to do that, and the launch control in Dodge in general has always been terrible. No disrespect to Dodge, but we just got to be honest, call a spade, you feel me? But they can't compete with an Audi in that sense, especially if you spend just a little money tuning it, right? If you do run into issues that may arise is turbocharger oil screens. That's a bigger issue. You want to definitely stay ahead of that. Transmission problems, sometimes it can be a little laggy. You want to make sure you stay on that. And of course, electrical issues. Mind you, this car has a bunch of moving parts. Y'all heard me say that a million times already, so you know what comes with it. So you should already just have that in the back of your mind. But I feel as though I have to say it, because if I don't, and one of y'all cop one of these and be like, yo, you didn't tell me that this doesn't work or this goes out. Hey, yo, I told you got electrical issues. You put all of those things within electrical issues, because there's a lot of things that can fit that bill, okay? But I digress. Let's move on. Number 2, that would be a 2014 to 2016 Mercedes-Benz CLS 63 AMG S 4MATIC. Yeah, I know. That's really the name. It's a lot. This came equipped with a 5.5 liter V8, 577 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 3.6 seconds. So now we at Benz now, y'all. We dealing with Benz now. So this is one of those cars, when it came out, everybody wanted one. It looked official, and a lot of people actually took the style of the CLS, actually the body style that came before this, they took that style and they made it their own, you know, because it was really innovative when they came out with this car. It just looked different. It didn't look like anything else on the road. When they came out with the second version, they updated it with this one, which is the 14. It still looked good, but it didn't, I would say it had that same presence as the initial one did, right? And then they revamped it again, and the newer version, to me personally, doesn't have the same presence as the previous two. Now, mind you, you can check it out and you might have a different opinion. Me personally, I just don't feel that same pizzazz, okay? I didn't have that extra, yeah, I'm CLS, I'm big, this is the big body, 63, I got all the power. It didn't have that, but some of these years did, right? The 14 did, and some of the years prior to it did too. Now, believe it or not, this had average to above average reliability. So it wasn't the worst, it wasn't the best, it was right there in the middle. Now, of course, it's still a Benz. You gotta have your money saved up, ready to go. Issues that you may run into is the air suspension. That was a big issue. A lot of the air suspensions have worn out on these cars. The brake light switch and electrical issues overall. Now, you can kind of put the brake light switch within electrical issues as well, but it's definitely something that if you are having electrical issues and this keeps popping up, you might want to address this first, and who knows, it may be able to fix other things within the car that was going wrong. So keep that in mind. But I think it's still going to be a good option, a good car for you to have if you can get a great deal on it. And mind you, you can get this all day under 40K, you know, but it still once was a car over 100 grand. So when you go into it with that thought in the back of your mind, knowing, yo, I'm getting a $100,000 car for less than $40,000. All of that equipment, all of those features, they're not $40,000. They $100,000. So just make sure you got that in the back of your mind, so you don't go in there crazy, really thinking you paying for an actual $40,000 car, because you're not. But let's move on. Number 3, that would be a 2016 to 2018 BMW M6 Competition. This came equipped with a 4.4 liter V8, 600 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 3.8 seconds. So you can get the coupe of this, or you can get the Grand Coupe, either or. This car actually had average reliability, so slightly under the previous two, but once again, just be proactive with it and you'll have better luck than not, right? This car is going to handle better than the previous two usually. The R7 can be a little tricky, but still, It's a BMW at the end of the day. You know what BMW brings to the table, okay? It's gonna be more of a well-balanced car as far as if you're really taking it out, quote unquote, maybe to the track, or you're really pushing it till its limits, okay? This is gonna really be able to handle it in a very well manner, right? Now, this is, again, if you really want to think about it, German Hellcat as well. Right? You already got 600 from the factory, an easy piggyback tune, you above 700 or right there. And if you really spend real money on it and stage it or whatever the case may be, this is gonna really go way beyond that, and you're gonna have a monster under your hands, and you know, nobody's really gonna be able to compete with you like that, especially if they just think that you stock. Okay, this car gonna have all the features. It looks good all the time, to me at least personally. Was it the best looking BMW? No, but it's still a great looking BMW. And it's something that a lot of people don't have, especially today. You know, they stopped making the M6s. They stopped making the 6 Series in general. The 8 kind of took over for that. And, you know, I think it's just cool, kind of nostalgic for you to jump in one of these. The prices, again, all day under 40K, you can jump into one of these, feel good, look good, and it's going to drive good. And you're going to feel like, yo, I'm really in something expensive. But once again, you really are in something expensive. This was pretty much a 6-figure car as well. So when things go wrong, make sure you know, hey, it ain't going to be nothing just cheap, just like how I paid for this car. No, it's going to be something expensive. But you got some money saved to the side, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But when you do run into issues, they may consist of high oil consumption. Okay, it's burning through oil. High cooling consumption, it burns through cooling as well. There's a lot of leaks, okay, a lot of leaks from a lot of different areas. The transmission could give you slight issues here and there, and it did have electrical issues. So it does kind of sound a little crazy, I'll be honest, right? Should it be your first choice on this whole list? Maybe not, but I love BMW. I might be a quote-unquote fanboy technically, but I still got love for Audi and Benz too, so I'm not really trying to play favorites here. I'm gonna just tell it to you how it is. But this is still gonna be a car that, you know, you may run into those issues, but if you got a BMW dealer or someone who knows how to work on those cars, or you work on them cars, just be proactive. That's the best thing you could do with any of the cars on this list. Just be proactive. Replace it, even if you're, you know, on the fence of thinking, did that get done, or maybe I should. If you ever have that thought with it, just do it. I promise you, you ain't gonna regret it. But let's move on. Number 4, that would be a 2006 to 2009 Chevy Corvette C6 Z06. This came equipped with a 7-liter V8, 505 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 3.4 seconds. So honestly, this list would not be complete if I didn't include a Chevy Corvette on here. All right, this is always gonna be one of the greatest cars you can get into, one of the fastest cars you can get into at a budget-friendly price. The Z06 C6 is a steal by any means. It was when it first came out, and it technically still is now. This is a car that, I mean, I'll jump in, no issues, no problems, you feel me? When the time is right, you'll see, you feel me? But this is a car that you're gonna have fun with it. It's gonna handle well. You can burn through the gears because you can get it in the manual. You can do your donuts, whatever you want to do with this car. It can handle all problems. It can handle any situation that you want to put it through. No, it's not going to be practical, but who really wants it to be practical? But to be fair, if we're talking about a 2-door car without any back seats, it is pretty practical for what it's worth. You feel me? But this car right here, you tune it a little bit, it's going to get all the attention. gonna look official. Y'all know about a whole bunch of Corvette owners and how they treat their Corvettes like they one of a kind and they the most special car in the world. You feel me? Corvette definitely has a lot of fanboys, but to be fair, their fanboys is older. There's a lot of older people that was in the car community years ago that appreciated it back then and got money now, and they said, yo, I'm spending a block on that. You feel me? So if you older watching my video and you was thinking about spending a block on it, go ahead and spend. You feel me? You can get this under 40K all day. But at the same time, if you younger, not too young, but if you younger, spend a block on it as well. You feel me? Because now it's in a price range where it could definitely be beneficial for you, and you won't have to worry too much about issues with it. Why? Because this car is above average reliability, right? So this car is going to really be able to handle the power that's put on it. You keep up with the maintenance, and parts are not going to be super expensive. So you really can't beat it from that perspective. And you'll understand why Corvette has such a familiar, common name, right? Why everybody knows about Corvettes, because it just makes sense to own one. I'll be honest, you see what I'm saying? Now, will you spend money down the line? Of course you will, because you're gonna really push it to those levels to have to really spend money on it and be really like ahead of your maintenance on it, because you're gonna want to do a lot of crazy stuff in this car. Of course, be safe, don't do nothing illegal, right? But this is gonna be a great car for you to jump into under 40K all day, okay? All day. Issues that you may run into is the shift level lockup, the roof leaks, possibly, over a certain amount of time, seal, stuff like that. You want to get that replaced. Exhaust valve issues and electrical issues. It's not going to be too crazy when it comes to the parts or things going wrong with this car. You're just going to want to do your inspection on it before you purchase it and make sure everything checks out. Of course, Carfax, all of the above. See what the person replaced on it, see what they didn't, and have a clear mind going into it, knowing what it needs in the future and what it needs, in the present time, like right now type. You feel me? But I promise you, this is a car you jump in. As long as you take care of it, it's going to take care of you and you're going to love it. That's a fact. But let's move on. Number 5, that would be a 2016 to 2018 Mustang Shelby GT 350. This came equipped with a 5.2 liter V8, 526 horsepower, 429 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 4.1 seconds. So I had to include this car, y'all. And I know a lot of Mustang fanboys is probably like, I get it, but I don't, right? So let me explain. The GT 350 is not the most reliable Mustang by any means. It actually has below average reliability, I'll be honest. But this car is very rare, it's very uncommon, and it holds its value decently. Let's not say great, but it holds its value better than a regular Mustang GT. But to be fair, the regular Mustang GT is going to be more reliable than the GT 350. And you can tune it to make GT 350 numbers as well, okay? So I'll say if you're going into this and you really want to just save money all across the board and you don't care about having something that's quote-unquote more rare or pristine, things of that nature, I'd say go ahead, jump into the GT, save your money on modifications, you feel me, and put it into a regular GT. You'll be good. You can make yourself a GT 350, right? But if you want the real thing, you feel me, from the factory, and you feel as though, hey, as long as I can keep up with what I got, maybe I could sell this on the back end and still, come out on top, or at least not lose too much money, then get the GT 350, okay? Me personally, I do like how the GT 350 looks. Of course, it's not technically the GT 500, but the GT 350 is going to be the more track-focused car. Think of a 911 GT3 and a 911 GT2. The GT2 is faster, but the GT3 is the more track-focused car. Think of it that way. This car, again, it looks good. It sounds great. was in it, what they did with it, it wasn't the best. So definitely make sure you got some money aside to pay for things that can go wrong. And one of the biggest issues is the oil consumption, which could actually lead to engine failure along the line. And if you ignore it and you let it continue to build up, it can lead to engine failure, so watch out for that. And also clutch wear as well. It doesn't seem like it's too many issues that can go wrong with this car, but that issue is so big that it could really take you out the game completely, right? So just have that thought in the back of your mind and know that, you know. And again, GT350s are not that common, and it could also be because a lot of people say, yo, it's not worth the risk of me spending that money to then being something that unreliable, especially when I want to push it to those limits. And now I got to worry about either replacing the car completely or replacing the engine completely. And I'm looking crazy because I done spent double the money that I had invested in it. You feel me? So definitely think about this decision before you make it. But I still think the 350 is cool. I think it's still going to be a decent option. Maybe not the best option on this list, but it's definitely going to be a decent option. But like I mentioned before, if you want to save money, you know, on the back end as well, and you don't care too much about rarity, then just go ahead and copy with GT. But I digress. So that's my list, y'all. Fastest cars under 40K that you should buy. But you already know how I do. I always got to drop a bonus for you. And the bonus of the day would be a 1994 to 1996 Dodge Viper. This came equipped with an 8-liter V10, 400 horsepower, 462 pound-feet of torque. But in 96, they raised it to 415 horsepower, 488 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, what we talking? 4.1 seconds. So this is just a legend, y'all. This is a legendary car. It's an iconic car. It wasn't the greatest car when it came out, and it still isn't the greatest car today. But they don't make cars like this anymore. This is a car that is literally etched in stone in history. It has its own space carved out. People knew when you got in the car and it drove like this, it was that. Okay, they couldn't really compare it too much to any other car, especially in today's time. Nothing is going to drive like this. Yeah, it's a risky car to drive. You feel me? You got to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it. But it looks different. You do not see these on the road really ever anymore. Okay, so when you do see it, it always stands out no matter where you at. It's an official car. And believe it or not, reliability is actually above average. This car is still going to be kind of hard for you to keep up with, and when it comes to actual parts, right? So if you damage a body panel, you know, or it's a lot of cosmetic damage to this car, that's going to be something hard for you to come by because nobody has Dodge Viper parts just laying around like that. You know, you're going to have to wait some time. You're going to have to make a couple phone calls and, you know, check online to definitely connect with people who are in that space, that community with these Dodge Vipers for you to be able to get things in a timely manner. But you just got to make sure you're on point. This is not going to be a car that you want to like destroy in a sense. And when I say destroy, I mean like really push it to its limits at all times. You save that for the Corvette. You feel me? But for this, you want this to be more of a car that is just something you pull out on the weekend. You feel me? You pull it out when you're trying to stunt. You pull it out when you at Cars and Coffee. You go into a car show, something where you know is going to draw attention. That's when you pull this car out. You don't really want to pull this out to just start racing everybody and going crazy because, again, if something do go wrong and you screw something up, it might take some time for you to get that replaced, and then at that point it's just going to have to sit and collect dust. Who wants that? Issues that arise when you do run into them is piston ring issues, leaking thermostat, the power steering reservoir bracket, and like I mentioned before, just coming across cosmetic problems with the car that may not be easy to replace. So that's my list, y'all. Like I mentioned before, if you're getting any of these cars, 1, make sure you got money saved up. 2, make sure you're the person who takes care of maintenance before it even comes up. Okay, you want to be proactive and not reactive. And 3, know that the car that you're getting for 40K or under once was probably double that. Okay, so the parts and things that go wrong with it is going to be on that level. It's not going to be on the 40K or under level. So keep that in mind. As long as you know those 3 things, you should be good. You should have fun. You should enjoy your experience with any of these cars, and it will be official. If it was up to me, what would I go with? I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of easy, but I'm jumping in that C6 Z06, okay? I'm jumping in that Corvette. I'm gonna turn up. I'm gonna go crazy with it. If I didn't jump in that, I might be in that RS7 or that M6 competition. And I usually don't go against my BMW, but that RS7 is crazy. I gotta be honest. Matter of fact, I want to shout out to one of the subscribers on this channel. I believe he is a subscriber, but he mentioned that he got a crazy deal on the RS7. Ended up paying like, I think it was like 20,000 or something under that for RS7 with like low miles, because something happened with the people that he bought it from, and they was just trying to get rid of it and, you know, be done with memories and things of that nature. So he jumped in it for a crazy price, crazy deal. Shout out to him. I don't know his name, but I definitely talked to him. I seen him in my comment section, so shout out to him. But that's the jewel of this whole video, y'all, is you can come across these cars and they might be significantly under 40K. You never know. You might buy it privately. If you go to the dealer, then they're gonna price it, you know, accordingly. But if you get it from somebody privately owned, you never know the deals you can get. And that really goes for any car. But if you can get one of these on this list for a deal, you're going to be feeling crazy. It's just going to be crazy. You're going to have a great experience with the car. You're going to have a great time with it, and you're going to enjoy your purchase 100%. Just make sure you got money saved up. But that's the video of the day, y'all. Y'all already know. If you're looking to fix your car, you're looking to tune it, make sure you check the description of my video. I got a link for you. Click that link and make sure you jump in there and you check to see what you need. I got all type of car parts for you that will be shipped to you in a timely manner. Just check it out. Make sure you get what you need and you be official. You feel me? Make sure your car up to date, running well, because if it's not, we don't want to see it on the side of the road, okay? Don't be the dude on the side of the road with a towel sticking out of the driver's side of your window, okay? Don't be that guy. Take care of the things before it happens so it don't get to that point, okay? But anyway, that's the video today. If you like it, make sure you share it, make sure you subscribe, and just like that, out of here. Peace.